Alright everyone, how are you doing? Oh, hang on, I didn't put the music on. Wait there. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Tonight on Crimewatch, what have we got? I've lined the headlines up. We've got a school slaying. The moment a weapon-obsessed teen dances with a knife in school canteen after slaughtering a 15-year-old boy. Needless to say, he's about as English as Gandhi. In the Express, they've got some breaking news about Russia, but who cares about that? Not when there's 16-year-old girls getting sexually assaulted while queuing at the shopping centre. And from the Sun, vile acts the moment a migrant carries out a sex attack on women near his asylum hotel after claiming he was unfamiliar with the UK laws. Yeah, and if you believe that, you'll believe anything. The Guardian has covered this one. Sex offender who sparked UK asylum hotel protests has been released by mistake. You couldn't make it up, could you? Good luck to the angry Bootneck pronouncing that knobhead's name. And a migrant guilty of murdering a woman with a screwdriver. Obviously, he's from Sudan. So it makes a nice change from a Scottish smackhead doing it. That's all coming up on Crimewatch. Yeah, cheers.
You don't know the way.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
I have.
Okay, that was pretty professional, wasn't it? It was like watching the BBC. Thanks to everyone who showed up, especially all the important people in green. Who's that? Councillor State Rach. She's always here. She's always here. Andy Kidd, now then. Spindly Killerfish. All right. How's life? Carl Burton, now then. Who else is in? Kate, thanks for moderating as usual. And anyone else who's rocks up on the way. Brass Eye. Brass Eye looks less like salt satire each day. It does, doesn't it? It does. It's a crazy time to be alive. Why is that headline so small? I feel like it should be a bit bigger than that. Maybe it just needs a refresh. Who cares? We'll get on with it. You can read that, can't you? Only if I can blow it up a bit. No. Oh, what do you mean app? I've already got the app. I pay for the Telegraph as well. Leave me alone. Maybe it hasn't signed me in. Right, they don't do this on the BBC, although you don't have to look at Hugh's ring piece when you're doing this version of Crimewatch. But it's definitely better, isn't it? You don't have to see a BBC newsreader's lungs. I hope everyone's doing all right. The first one we're going to start with is Rhiannon White getting stabbed 23 times with a screwdriver by a bloke who arrived in small boat. So again, the fact you would think, right, one single murder taking place as a result of a small boat would mean the Navy would put a ring of steel round the UK and they wouldn't let a single one of them in. That is a national scandal, or it should be. It should be a national scandal. Killed with a screwdriver, came in on a small boat not too long ago. First of all, let's get some, before we read the story, let's get some of the comments, because I love the comments on the Telegraph. The comments on the Telegraph. Crikey, pressed the wrong button again. Hang on, I'm learning. I'm new to broadcasting. There we are. The comments on the Telegraph are gold. I love them. They're always very sensible. They're always very sensible people who read the Telegraph. I think they're the ones who still think it's conservative. Now it's a bit wet, the Telegraph. It's not like the good old days. But let's go to the comments first, because these are always great. Again, we're living in an era where random blokes commenting on the internet make 10 times more sense than the elites who are charged with running a country. Camembert, this government's policies behind this sickening murder, the boats, the armed forces, the destruction of the economy in the name of nut zero, the reduction in them. These policies are not the result of incompetence or laziness or just bad luck. These policies and everything that is happening to the UK is deliberate and has been planned. But why? That's a good one. I think I'll pitch that one. More parasites than the tapeworm. Although, no, worse parasites than the tapeworm, yeah. I was going to say, the tapeworm is the parasite. Just watching GB News about the Epping Forest bloke having been let out accidentally. I'm sick to the back teeth of hearing we have our own sexual predators. I am, Katie, yeah. Very, very sensible. I know when we should be dealing with these instead of the police having to spend time on illegal immigrants, many of whom come from countries with an appalling sexist philosophy. Katie would have been voting for Labour and reading The Guardian 10 years ago, wouldn't she? And now she's one of us. One of us. One of us. Because everybody sensible is one of us now. And the scum that rule the world couldn't give a flying shite about you. So we'll quickly blast through this story. There he is, fine upstanding gentleman. You look at that photo and you think, what a marvellous chap. He'd never do anyone any harm. Actually, shall I make the story bigger so you can actually read it yourselves? There we go, that's a nice happy medium. So obviously a splendid fellow. This is the way. It is. In fact, I definitely think it warrants another go because look at that photo. Look at that. That photo definitely warrants another blast.
You don't know the way.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
I have.
Yeah, you could have guessed what he was going to get up to. The second his big toenail touched the beach. I'm amazed he got off the beach before he knifed someone. They're obviously letting things slide, aren't they? Andy Kidd, it's wall-to-wall news here about the Bell Hotel diddler they've accidentally set free. There's a video of him mooching about at 12 noon today. It's unbelievable. If the British had a spine, he wouldn't get back to the prison, would he, if you know what I'm saying? And I'm confident if he lived in the borough, he wouldn't, because I always found it funny on the film Fight Club, where they say, oh yeah, do you know how hard it is to get into a fight? You know where the guy's squirting pit with his hose? And it's like, oh, it's surprisingly difficult to get into a fight in this day and age. It isn't. If you did that in the borough, every bloke you pushed would knock you out. So if Mr. Kebatu was free, were wandering around in the borough, I guarantee a legion of chavs would have gathered together to boot him from one end of the town to the other. So I hope, I mean, again, you're not allowed to promote anything fun on YouTube, but I'll just have a quiet, pleasant thought about the fact that possibly maybe someone is going to get together with a few of their chums and maybe help perform a citizen's arrest. A citizen's arrest where after you do it, you have to say he tripped on a bit of loose carpet in the station, my lord. If you get where I'm coming from with that one. Anyway, story is, a migrant who arrived in Britain on a small boat has been found guilty of murdering Rhiannon White, 27, poor lass, poor working class lass, thinking she was helping, killed by Deng Chol Majek on October 20th last year in a vicious, frenzied attack at a train station. Absolute psycho. These are the people we're letting in. Absolute psycho. Majek, a Sudanese national, followed Miss White, where she worked before stabbing her 23 times with a screwdriver. Found guilty of murder. Jurors reached unanimous guilty verdict after deliberating for 2 hours. Who needed 2 hours? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Electric lazy boy. Eat. Toast him. I need some electrified noises on here, don't I? There's a decent-sized media pool on here, but alas, there is nothing akin to deeply satisfying electricity being pumped through the genitals of a raving lunatic that the British government imported on purpose. Anyway, so there's nothing good like that. Is the audio alright today, by the way? I've had nothing but an endless nightmare with this shitty microphone. So I pumped it all the way up. It's just kind of annoying because when you're hearing it in my ears, there's a lot of background noise. So, yeah. Wood chipper, I'll definitely work on getting some more sound effects. Got to get a wood chipper noise. So that's amazing. Believed that he lied about his age. The lied about his age one is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. They all lie about it. In the aftermath of her death, Miss White's family accused Starmer of having blood on his hands. Definitely. Definitely. Just 3 weeks after she was attacked, her older sister urged people in the community to be vigilant after it was announced that a new asylum hotel was being established in Warwick. Please take care of your loved ones. Please share in Leamington, Warwick and surrounding areas. We must do everything to protect our families. And one of Miss White's 5 siblings said, Keir Starmer has blood on his hands. Oh no, I was so angry I forgot the rule. Keir Starmer has blood on his hands.
Gay!
Man is a rat. The man is a rat. As I said, you're not allowed to openly call for acts of aggression. But as I've said many times, and I mean it to the very depths of my soul, if someone was to put an end to the snake, the absolute weasel that runs the United Kingdom, I definitely wouldn't attend the funeral, and I possibly would have a bit of a semi on while I was reading the story. I think I can get away with that one, can't I? Yeah, well, we'll see when I land in a few weeks' time. Don't care. I'll be the daddy. There's a clip you can't play on YouTube, isn't there? Where he goes, get some coal dust rubbed in them marks. I'm sure any Englishman over the age of about 40 knows what I'm talking about there. Carlin on Scum. What a class film that was. Scarred me for life watching that when I was about 8. There was no rules in my house about what you can watch on the telly. And I think my cousin brought a copy of that on VHS over when I was about 9. Watching a lad get rogered in the greenhouse when he's 9 years old, not really family friendly viewing that. I remember arguing about that in the pub, saying how you didn't need to have age certificates on movies because I watched RoboCop and Terminator and Scum when I was 8, and one of the old blokes in there was made a good point and said, yeah, Matty, but from the age of 10, you said you were desperate to join a commando unit and basically machine gun as many people as possible. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it isn't good for well-rounded children. That I probably should have been watching Pokemon or something else instead. But nobody gets covered in toxic sludge and then explodes on the front of a police car in Pokemon. So I feel like I still made the right decision, regardless of any effects it may have had on my mental health. Lord Jim, thanks for the super sticker. I can't see them in StreamYard. God's best friend, Matt, check the last post in Galactic Village Idiot with the number of minutes that Axel didn't behead anyone. All right, well, that does sound intriguing. I'll have a look. What do you mean the number of minutes he didn't? I'll read that. That sounds of interest to me. So this is just a typical thing. The Prime Minister's, look at that, holding a son as well. It's unbelievable. The worst thing about it is, it's always the nicest people who get killed, isn't it? Because cynical pricks like me wouldn't dream of taking a job in a diddler centre. That's what I'm calling them, diddler centre, because disproportionate numbers of them are diddlers. So I would never do a job in a diddler centre, because I'm a cynical prick. So it's always the nicest, most innocent people who catch it up, isn't it? This poor lass, obviously empathic, loves kids, wants to help people, takes a job in a diddler centre and then gets 23 shivs with a screwdriver. It's unbelievable. And again, this happens every time. They knew there was a problem, but no one said anything because no one wants to be mean. During the trial, Miss White's co-workers told jurors throughout the evening he'd been staring intimidatingly towards a group of female staff. He wouldn't take his eyes off any of us. So why didn't you do something about it? Why did you let her walk home while this psycho followed her? If I was there, because I'm not a daft lefty do-gooder, I'd have had eyes on him the second it transpired that he was clearly a lunatic. If I was the chef and I seen him follow her outside, I'd have been straight out after him. I've done it before in my professional career. I remember when I worked at a brewery, the chef was creeping on one of the girls out there, and I seen him follow her out. So as soon as he did, I leapt the bar and ran straight over and went, what's going on here? Because I knew he was creepy, and these daft do-gooders just let him get on with it. If I was working there, that lass would still be alive because I'd have talked her into applying some good-natured, mathematically accurate, common sense prejudice, which is what the world needs more of these days. And don't let anybody tell you different. Again, I'm not saying, and I still do not think very right-wing people like me are racist. We aren't. I don't judge individual people on their characteristics the second I look at them. I simply apply prejudice, which is logical, rational, and empirical. Because if you see the numbers and the likelihood of a 22-year-old Sudanese man wanting to stab you to death with a screwdriver, and you compare that with a 78-year-old Jewish pensioner, female, or a 22-year-old female student, or a 27-year-old pasty ginger who works as a scaffolder, the risk is astronomically higher from one of the people in that group. So it isn't bigotry or hateful to be very, very, very wary of them. And again, anyone who calls you a racist, you just say, all right then, so you just walk down the street and you look down a dark alley and there's 25 Somalians down there. Are you comfortable to walk past them with your kids? Because normal people go, no, I wouldn't individually wish any harm on any individual one of them, because, one or two of them might be all right. But I'm going to U-turn on my heel and bugger off in the opposite direction as fast as possible because I'm sensible, because I can read, because I can do maths. That's all it is. I wouldn't individually, if I get on a bus, don't care what the bloke next to me looks like, I'll always be like, all right, mate, how are you doing? And try to get on with it. I'm simply streetwise. And you should be too. And if more people were streetwise, less people would get stabbed in the eye by Somalians on a daily basis. All right? No, I haven't got to that one yet. Don't worry. We haven't got to that one yet. Let me wet my whistle. So we've had enough of that one. That is unbelievable. That thing is what the British government thought was acceptable to let into the UK on small boat. The blood of that innocent, nice young woman is on their hands. They may as well have sharpened his blade for him. And he is so obviously a criminal diddler. He's getting another blast of the You Do Not Know the Way video.
You do not know the way.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
Yeah, there you go. So he should never have been here in the first place. Preposterous state of affairs. That young lady's dead, and the Prime Minister and all of his flunkies killed her. They're as guilty as he is. All right? Easy. Let's get to the next thrilling one. Unbelievable. I've picked The Guardian because I don't want... I'm going to have to get rid of The Guardian if they're doing adverts all the time. Let's get The Telegraph on, where I pay for them, because The Telegraph won't spam me. There we are, that'll do. Plus, it will give 0.1 second less views to The Guardian, so that's a good thing. Right, the Epping diddler who was accidentally released from prison. Unbelievable, because Stevie Wonder apparently is employed by the state to work in the prisons. And again, this won't be news to long-time viewers, will it? Because I think it's been a couple of years since I told this story, so I'll do it again. I'll blow myself up while I'm rambling. True story. Swear to God, this is long-term viewers have heard it. I've said this a few years back. Getting a train in the UK, long distance from like London to the northeast, sitting there, minding my own business. Ticket inspector comes down the train, blind as a bat. He was proper wonky-faced, suffering from an acute case of achyphoria. Yeah, one eye's looking at you, one eye's looking for you. Yeah, proper, blind as a bat. Looked like he was navigating the carriage with sonar. He went, tickets please. Deaf or a little bit Mongol. So I gives him my ticket, and he had to like hold it all the way up to his face, and he was like to like see it. Like, I don't know what was wrong with him, but he had to get it at a weird angle. So gives him the ticket. He checks everyone's ticket. Takes 5 minutes longer than it should have done. Don't verify the accuracy. Probably everyone on there, especially all the Somalians, are using fake tickets. He wouldn't. You might as well give him a beer mat and he wouldn't tell the difference. And then, as I joked to the lass who was sat across from me and said, yeah, probably not a good idea to have someone partially sighted checking everybody's tickets. You know, you got to check the small print and see what the fare is. And I shit you not, as I said it, the tannoy came over to tell us where we were going, and it was like, welcome to train. We go. Is a Yorker, is a Middlesbrough, is a Birmingham, a New Street, have a nice day, thank you, please. Not a fucking person on the entire train could hear what the bloke said. And at that point, everyone around the table started laughing because I was taking the piss saying they've got a blind conductor and then they've got an English, a guy who you can't see his face or where he is. His only job is to tell you where you're going. And he cannot speak a word of the Queen's. The irony was, the bloke who had eyes like a shithouse rat, he could see, he had perfect diction. I was like, swap jobs? You sorted, lads. Get the blind guy on the tannoy and the African who can't speak a word of the Queen's doing the tickets. Simple. But that's England. If it makes sense, do the opposite. All right? Easy. So that's a nice dit to lead us into this one. Obviously, because we only employ imbeciles, the migrant sex offender was accidentally released from prison. So the individual bloke that caused all these riots and all that chew, Boss Joe's gifted someone a Bootneck membership. Quick, grab it while it's hot. Thanks for that, Joe. Sparked all these riots, kicked off massively all around the country, and this is what happens. Given 76 quid, we give them money. Think of that. We don't just let the diddlers move in on small boats, let them diddle the kids, and then let them walk the streets. We give them cash. How can I get 76 quid? Give me £76. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well said. Who's going to 26 of Southampton Shore Force? I haven't heard about that one. That one's totally. Let me have a look. Yeah, another big protest. No, it doesn't even come up on Google. Southampton Shore Force. Now, so I haven't heard of that. You'll have to plug that a bit more, and when I hear about it, I'll obviously plug it for you. Joe, you can take the mask off now. Why the old ones are the best. I don't know whether he was wearing a mask or he just had not fully functioning eyeballs. Probably the latter, because he's employed to check tickets in the UK, and that's the way we roll. We aren't just an incompetent country, thanks to 10 years of wokeism and 30 years of wet leftism. We're a competence black hole. We're a competence blank hole. If you can fix a car, we will not give you a job as a mechanic. If you couldn't find your arse with both hands, we'll give you a job. If you've never touched a car in your life, we'll make you a mechanic. If you've got no eyeballs, we'll make you a professional ticket collector. And if you can't speak the word of the Queen's, we'll make you a narrator or a newsreader. The England is not even incompetent. It's a competence black hole. We only put you in a position if we know you're the worst possible candidate for the job. That's the way it is. I told you I know loads of people in the Met. I get tons of messages nowadays. Boss-eyed, cycloptic, morbidly obese, howling, little fat birds getting employed as beat bobbies. They never go out anymore because they want to just sit on the fat arse looking at tweets and eating digestives and drinking the tea. The UK's a joke. Everything about it's a joke. I'm amazed the power's still on. There must be like 2% of the country that's still competent, and they're doing all the work. Because it's the anti-meritocracy, the UK. It's embarrassing. Anyway, sorry, rambling. Right, Mr. Kebatu. You all know about Mr. Kebatu. Obviously, and he's wearing designer gear. That's annoying. Mr. Kebatu gets released from custody and given money by the British state. It says a manhunt has now been launched because the bloke who sexually assaulted a 14-year-old was released by accident. Ethiopian Kebatu was meant to be sent to an immigration detention centre to be deported, but instead they went, get yourself out, mate. Here's 76 quid. Enjoy yourself. Kebatu was wrongly categorised as prisoner due to be released on licence rather than a foreign offender scheduled for removal. Wrongly. Human error. You mean activists working in the human error not good enough? Find the human that let Kebatu out and prosecute them for child endangerment. There's loads of stuff you can get them on. Child endangerment's just the one. You can have gross misconduct while in a public office. You can have... Basically, I want whoever purposely let the foreign diddler out and give him 76 quid. I want the human that caused the error to do 12 months, right? In fact, longer than that. If you get 2.5 years for stickers or 3 years for tweets, I want the prison services human error guy or woman charged and sent to prison for 4 years? 4 years seems fair. If you get 3 for tweets, you can get 4 for purposely letting kiddie fiddlers out on the street because you're an ideologically possessed left-wing lunatic. So yeah, lock them up as well. He was given £76. I don't get it. Cover a free prisoner's first week's expenses and then left jail without an escort. Unbelievable. And also, it said he was sentenced to 12 months in prison. How long did he do? Wasn't this only a couple of months back? When did this occur? So has he done 12 months in prison or not? Surely not. Surely this was only about a month ago, wasn't it? Or are my eyes playing tricks on me? How's he being let out? He was foreign. He's a diddler. He was due for deportation. And he was sentenced to 12 months in prison. And he's now walking the streets, fingering 10-year-olds with a pocket full of cash that you've just gave him. Think of that. Think of that. Honestly, I can't believe it. I'd rather send money. I told you, I'd rather send money to Gary Glitter's Christmas fund. I'd rather buy Ian Huntley a birthday cake. At least he was born and raised in the UK, so we have to pay for him. We're lumbered with people like that. But these knobheads, we're bringing them in by the thousands every week. And they're attacking women and children, and then we're paying for them. You couldn't make it up. Rage boner. Hang on, I need to calm down a moment. My blood pressure's getting a bit high. If I cut myself now, it'd go and hit the ceiling. It's probably 8 figures, my blood pressure at this point. His crime sparked protests, so they let him out. Amazing. Living as an asylum seeker. Ethiopia's not at war. What do you mean? Why did they call them all asylum seekers? 98% of them aren't asylum seekers. And the blokes who protested, this piece of shit, this oxygen thief, this human trash, the blokes who protested Kebatu, fellows like he, you see with the flags on, they all got sent to years in prison, didn't they? And I bet they're still behind bars. Funny that, innit? As I said, a narco-tyranny. That's what it is. The blokes who protested the foreign kiddie fiddler, they're still in prison. But the man who did the kiddie fiddling, he's not in prison, and he just got 76 quid of your money. So it's time to lose your rag, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, it is time to lose your rag. Welcome to the club, Mozza. Nice to have you as a member. Now you are important to me. Well said if YouTube, Danny Tomo, he's promoting it. Promoting what? Promoting letting diddlers out? Or promoting losing your rag? I hope it's the latter. Or else he wants to be on the watch list and all, doesn't he? Ragnar tagged me in a video of him walking the streets on X. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Shall I have a quick look for that? Hang on. God. I don't get it. Syrian migrant with deep voice and receding grey hair, ruled to be a child and given compensation. Everywhere I turn, they're trying to kill me. I need medication. I need to get on some statins or some shit. This is unbelievable. Where's this tag rack now? I get a lot of shit these days. That's why. Oh, here we are. I've been sent footage of who is believed to be the Epping migrant Hadush Kebatu, videoed by a member of the public in Chelmsford city centre. He is wanted by police. Yeah. Oh my God, that's him. Kebatu with a big gang of swarthy men already. Get him out. What are they doing, giving him some money? Yeah, there you go, Kebatu. Go and do some diddling. Kebatu. Enjoy yourself. Spend the £76. He'll be straight to IKEA to spend 76 on a £76 on a meat cleaver and an apron, and then he'll get himself to the local girls' school and enjoy himself, won't he? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So that's lunacy. Like I said, remember the lads who protested him are all in prison. There was like 3 of them because they were rude to police officers because they were angry about little girls getting killed. This is what I'm telling you. It's a narco-tyranny. Don't tell me it's a conspiracy theory. The bloke who did the diddling is on the streets, and the blokes who did the protesting are in jail. Think of that. So all these it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's happening. And if you don't know that, you don't know anything. Moving on. Violax moment migrant carries out sex attacks on women near his asylum hotel. Oh no, another one. Weird, I didn't see that coming. Fiend has avoided jail. Of course he has, because it's a narco-tyranny, isn't it? Think about it. There's a bit of video. Let's have a look. Tap for sound. Warning, contains foreign diddlers. What's he doing? Just driving around slapping arse cheeks? It just never ends. Just cycling about, trying to jam his fingers down a few sets of knickers. You know, he's probably had his fingers. He's been parting more whiskers this week than Mick Jagger's done in about 40 years. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Oh, Danny Tomo's videos on Southampton. Oh, okay, right. I'll check it out. Thanks for that, mate. So that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the chilling moment a migrant claiming to be unfamiliar with UK laws carried out vile sex attacks on women near his asylum hotel. Listen, right, you know this is lies because it's not just UK law. I've been to the third world. I've been all over it. I've been to Sierra Leone, Senegal, Afghanistan, Iraq. I've been to loads of shitholes, and I guarantee if you walk down the street in Sierra Leone and there's a woman minding her own business and you stuff your fist down the front of her knickers, she'll chin you. And blokes nearby will chin you. This is a universal thing. You don't put your hands on people you don't know. It's that simple. What do you mean unfamiliar with UK laws? And these wanker judges will pretend they accept it so they can let them out. Again, I've just showed you about 10 examples. They'll let them out and they'll lock you up for complaining about it. Kwai Al-Aswad, good English name. Can't say that. In fact, no, that's too foreign, that. We'll get rid of that. I'm not having it. I'm not having that. Let's just call him Gary. Yeah, easy. Gary committed a heinous attack within a 3-week period while riding his bike along, diddling the kids. There we are, slapping cheeks and taking names. Love that. Meanwhile, 20 coppers looking at blokes, old middle-aged blokes with flags. Yeah, makes loads of sense. And he was staying in the 4 Points Sheraton Hotel. How expensive it is to stay at 4 Points. He groped them while travelling to and from the taxpayer-funded 4 Points to work illegally at a car wash. So, yeah, get him out. Get him out. And they don't pay taxes because they work illegally. They do nothing. They do nothing. They're costing us billions, 40, 50, 60, 80 billion pound a year. We're going bankrupt and the finger in your kids. Get them out, get angry, get on the street, do something about it. Send an angry letter to the pedo-shielding, diddler-enabling, degenerate, closeted android dog inhabiting the 10 Downing Street. Ha! I didn't say his name. Well done, me. I'll tell you what, though. I'll treat you to a Shabana Mahmood instead.
Some of it was fun.
Yeah, she deserves a bat. Everyone knows it. Arnold, hit her again. Hit her again. She's importing kiddie fiddlers and murderers on purpose and letting them out while locking up people like you for tweets. So, Arnold, twat her again for me.
Some of it was fun.
Good lad, Arnold. Good lad, Al. We can't get justice in the real world, so we'll have to just, do it via the medium of badly edited badly edited videos from a bootneck with the technological capacity of Uncle Albert. All right. The first woman left a pub and got her ass slapped at around 9 p.m. He grabbed hold and squeezed another woman's bottom. He then grabbed her crotch and vaginal area. Gary, what you doing, Gary? Found him guilty on all 3 offences and gave him a 6-month preservation, but as usual, suspended for 2 years. So if you say mean things on Twitter, 3 years jail. If you disagree with a copper, 3 years jail. If your children die, so you're very upset about little girls getting stabbed to death by a Rwandan, and you vocalise that too aggressively, you go to jail. But if you're slapping cheeks and stuffing your parting whiskers with your index finger of perfect strangers in the middle of the street, well, suspended sentence. Because we can't send Mr. Gary to prison, and he needs an interpreter, so there's another 200 grand a year we're spending on interpreters, probably for just that one town. In fact, it'll be more, won't it? Millions on terps, millions on diddlers. It's unbelievable. He was also ordered to complete 40 rehab activity days, which he won't do, and 200 hours unpaid work, which he won't do. Get him out. What's he still here for? So he's just no mention of deportation. Nothing. Just let him off. Let him off. He'll be doing it again tonight. Again, it's unbelievable. It's an act of pure malevolence by the state. And where's he from? Did it tell you where he's from? No, it's just Gary. I'll just go with Gary. I know more about him than the British government does. Unbelievable. Julie. They're always birds, aren't they? They're always thick as shit, woke split asses. Every one of them. I'm sick. How come? This is the suicidal empathy of women. No wonder old boomers got slagged off for saying women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Look what you've done with your suicidal empathy. It's crazy. How come women who are the most at risk from foreign diddlers, as we see here from this story, how come they're the ones that are all liberal? Julie Cooper. How can they call me sexist when I'm the one saying maybe we should smash the men that stick the fist down young girls' knickers, and Julie Cooper doesn't get called a sexist, and she's going, oh, poor foreign diddler, let him go and clap some more cheeks, willy-nilly. What planet are you living on if you think I'm the sexist one? Julie Cooper is more misogynistic than a 50-year-old granddad in a string vest who's just knocking the shite out of Ethel because his tea was cold. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Christ on a bike. God's best friend, you stop the conspiracies, we'll stop the theories. They're not conspiracies at this point, are they? They definitely aren't. The facts. This is what we're talking about, facts now. Is at least one of these going to be homegrown? I almost miss homegrown kiddie fiddlers. There's a real shortage of them now. I just want to open one story and you'd be called Angus and be from a council estate in Glasgow. Angus McTatty, Glaswegian diddler. Just once. Can I have one? Let's see. This one got sent to me by Mitesh, so let's have a quick look. See what that one says. Police have launched a CCTV appeal. Oh, here we are. Look. Can I have one Ginnock? Just one fox piss. I'm sick of seeing swarthy Arabic diddlers. I want to see a nice red-blooded ginger diddler. A pasty, lots of sunblock, doesn't like to go outside in autumn. Pasty Scottish Northern Dundee diddler. Just once. I'm sick of it. Teenage girl sexually assaulted at a popular city shopping centre, queuing when she was attacked by a swarthy gentleman. South Yorkshire Police said they believe the man can help with our investigation. He can help all right. He can help all right. He can show you the finger that he's just wedged up a young lad that he's just parted some girl's whiskers with. That's what he can do. He can physically walk up to the copper and go, here, smell this. So yeah, he can definitely help with the investigation. Definitely. Easy. So that's good, isn't it? Sheffield, blah, blah. Is there any? Man is described as, well, blow me down with a feather. Man is described as, we'll just put ginger. Man's described as ginger with red, gingery hair and fox piss, rusty facial hair. He's believed to be like in his 30s, so he's probably yet 17, really. The government will tell you he's 17, and if anyone tells you he's over 18, they have to pay him thousands of pounds because they got it wrong. And he's 5'5" because they're all dwarves, aren't they? They're all dwarves. When you shag your cousins and all your parents are related, you don't get a lot of height on you. The force are appealing for anyone with information to come forward. Blah, 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 blah. So they can piss around and, talk to the 16-year-old girl and then send specially trained officers to support because there's loads of use in that. And then you'll get a slap wrist and you'll get 40 hours community service and they won't send him to prison. Nice one. Love that. What's this? Outrageous reader? Oh, no, it's an elbow, isn't it? We've just done him. So many murders, so little time. Let's do another one. The Sun. School slaying, chilling moment, weapon-obsessed teen dances with a knife. Oh, my God. Right. This is the one I covered earlier in the week. Poor young Harvey Wilgoose, who obviously looks a lot like me and was born and raised in the UK, was callously butchered by Mighty Moore, Mr. Khan there, who doesn't look like me and definitely isn't from the United Kingdom, while he was on his lunch break. There's the victim. Obviously, you don't even need me to read you the story, do you? I can just scroll through and you know what's happening. Because you have that aforementioned logical, reasonable, mathematically accurate prejudice that I've spoke about. You don't need me to read you the story. You know who the victim is and you know who the killer is before you even talk. So just do that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Who's the victim? Him. Who's the killer? Him. Easy. Don't need to read it. Shall we just call it a day? Don't need to read it. Just look at the pictures, you know what's going to happen. Easy. Smiling, laughing, fair-haired victim. Greasy, swarthy, inbred. Perpetrator. Done. Don't need to worry about it. Oh yeah, and scowling. That's always laughing, haha, normal person enjoying his life. Scowling inbred, as usual. There he is. Shoved him earlier in the school corridor for no reason. Yeah, makes loads of sense. Stabbed twice in the heart by a 15-year-old in front of pupils. The teen said, I can't control it, when the school's assistant head took the knife off him, and he's been named and sent to prison for a minimum of 15 years, so he'll be out when he's 30. Brilliant. Harmy's family's haunted by the CCTV footage and are exhausted by the trauma. And yeah, he's, again, every story. Shut up, we've already covered you. Diddler, free diddler. Look ahead, another one. Brit Pitt. Is he? Let's see what he's called. He doesn't look very Brit to me. Yeah, there you go. Another one. Well, there's so many, I don't even need to look for them. I can just stumble across them willy-nilly. A British diddler. I was like, oh, thank God for that. Finally. A pasty white guy's done something. It makes a nice change, doesn't it? Oh, what's this? British pedo Jaskan Jackie Hadge. Yeah, amazing. They're even giving us a bad name abroad as well, aren't they? Because now the French are all in Paris going, they say we are the perverts, but look, an Englishman has been diddling the teenage girls. No, he's called Jaskan Jadji, and he's not from Feltham, West London. He's from the foothills of some tribal region near the Hindu Kush, where ramming your relatives is as common as drinking water. That's where he's from. That's what he looks like. Oh my God, worst councillor ever. Who cut his hair? You know what? When I was a kid, we used to taunt people and call them sex offenders if they had haircuts like that. And this bloke's actually got one. So, again, 15-year-old Bootneck was ahead of the curve. When I seen someone with a do like that, the first thing I said was, does your mum and dad cut your hair with a knife and fork? Or did your granny cut your hair in the shed with a broken bottle? And then the next thing I say is, you look like a kiddie fiddler. And it turns out, the wisdom of children. Because, yeah, he does look like one. And he definitely seems to be one, judging by his previous convictions. Furthermore, what's he doing travelling? The banned football hooligans, you can't go to Paris. You had a fight with another bloke who wanted to fight outside a football match. But dangerous sexual predator, full-blown diddler, with his diddler hairdo and his diddler jumper. I think he's even got a diddler jumper on. You should just lock them up as soon as you see them. You don't even need to have a trial for a man who looks like that much of a diddler. No way. He's got a diddler jumper and a diddler do. He's a diddler. That is game, set and match. I don't even need to hear the evidence. Just as soon as I walked him in, if there was 12 people in the chat here on the jury, and he walked out with a diddler jumper and a diddler do, you'd just be like, jail him. Before they even start reading you the rap sheet, just lock him up. It's unbelievable. Yeah, those cats have got a horrified look on the face, haven't they? That one on the right's like, yeah, they've gone through some trauma, them cats. Please don't put me on the diddler when they're coming out the laundry mat. So he's previously been convicted of sexual activity with two 15-year-old girls. So he's a proper full-blown diddler, 40-year-old. And how long did he do for his previous conviction? And paid 111 grand to stage a fake wedding at Disneyland Paris. Why? Tipped off by a man who claimed he wanted to pay 10 grand to pay the father of the bride. One of the girls was a Ukrainian miner who just arrived. I mean, even France, no one's bloody French anymore. Hired professional makeup artist to disguise his appearance. Just a total freak, weirdo. So how long did he get? Let's get down to this. I want to know. Currently awaiting trial in France on separate charges: fraud, money laundering, identity theft. Attempted to secure bail, but the request was denied. So they're going to let him out. The French, again, the French have got more sense than us. It's unbelievable. So there you go. Diddler-tastic, diddler. Not a Brit. That was bonus diddler. There you go. We stumbled into that one. Bonus foreign diddler. Back to the story at hand. Foreign murderer. There he is. Definitely the result of cousin bum love. He came to school on the day of the fatal stabbing and told a teacher he had nothing on him he shouldn't when asked. Oh my God, he lied. What, are you telling me convicted murderers tell lies? I'm not having that. This is England, don't you know? We take the word of convicted murderers. Yeah, so that's appalling. I can't believe a teacher had the brass neck to ask him. Then anyway, after lunch break, he just knifed the shit out of someone. And he said it's not his fault, and it probably isn't his fault because mummy and daddy shouldn't be first cousins. So yeah, probably isn't entirely his fault, is it? His mum called the cops herself after discovering the weapon, but the boy claimed he knew nothing about it, and the officer took no further action. So again, the twist, not a twist, factually accurate, blatantly obvious as a kick in the bollocks by a 6'7" giant with a yellow shell suit on, as obvious as a kick in the bollocks off a man garishly dressed. Of course, there's two dozen different markers that would have proved to anyone with a fully functioning brain that he should have never have been in the school in the first place, and he probably should have been locked in a young offenders institution. And the coppers never took any action. And there was a story that broke today about the head teacher of the school saying that she didn't want to say anything about it because she was scared of looking racist. Same story, same with Rudu Kanubu, same with the Manchester bomber. It never ever ends, and it won't end until we make it end via the medium of extreme rage directed at the scum that lord it over you with an iron fist. That's the news for the day. That's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 foreign diddlers for your perusal. Crimewatch, no wonder they stopped doing it. There's no English people on Crimewatch anymore, is there? And the powers that be couldn't give a monkey shite. So that's great, that, isn't it? Thanks for tuning in to Crimewatch. Tune in next week for more foreign hostile kiddie fiddlers sponsored by the state. Yeah, nice one. Cheers for that. It's unbelievable. Kebatu, £76. Definitely gone on some Alan-approved meat and a blowtorch for his shopping trolley. Now, unless he's got to Middlesbrough, I think it's only the borough that's world famous for the quality of their galvanised aluminium shopping trolley kebabs. Maybe that's where he's going to go. As a soldier, it's not that weird to see criminal elements gravitating to Middlesbrough because definitely 100% Osama bin Laden's nephew served me in a kebab shop there in 2003. So it's not that weird. Anyway, we'll call it for the day. That's nearly an hour. You can have that for now. Thanks for all the super chats, everyone. I much appreciate it. I'll be streaming tomorrow anyway because it's Saturday. I don't think I've got anything on tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. All right. Like it and share it if you can be bothered as usual. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been Foreign Diddler Crimewatch, and I'll see you all tomorrow. All right? Toodle pip.
You do not know the way.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have